Hello. Thank you for tuning in to this 2025 primary election candidate forum for the Tumwater Mayor. This forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County in collaboration with Thurston Community Media and the NAACP of Thurston County. The League of Women Voters is proud to be nonpartisan, neither supporting nor opposing candidates or political parties at any level of government, but always working on vital issues of concern to members and the public to defend our democracy and empower voters. I am Tawny Crawford with the League, and I will be moderating this forum. Barbara Bryan is our timer. The City of Tumwater uses a mayor-council form of government. The mayor's role is to carry out the policies the City Council has adopted for the city. The city has a separation of powers similar to the legislature, where the mayor is the head of the executive branch. Leatta Dahlhoff and Lance Brender are the two candidates participating in today's forum. We stress the importance of civility in our forums. Candidates have received the ground rules for the forum and have agreed to abide by them. Lance and Leatta, do you understand and agree to abide by them? Absolutely. Beginning with Lance, the first question is, why are you running for Tumwater Mayor, and what skills and experience do you have to offer?
So the answer to why I am running has a lot to do with how I got here. So I'm a recently retired U.S. Army officer, spent 20 years as a tank officer, retired out of JBLM. I'm also a small business owner and a farmer. And those experiences have given me a wide range of executive experience that now that I am out of uniform, I want to transition what I've done, which is public service and servant leadership, from the military and into the civil world. And that specifically takes the form of being mayor of Tumwater. So the experiences that I bring that are relevant to leadership here is the ability to bring together a diverse group of people who don't have the same goals and don't want the same things, to bring them all together and to get things done. And doing that in an equitable and fair way.
Appreciate the time to be here today, and I've been a proud League of Women Voters member for over a decade. My name is Leatta Dahlhoff. I currently serve as Mayor Pro Tem on Tumwater City Council, and I'm running to turn up and turn on everyone's love of Tumwater. And I'm looking at the cameras and I'm looking at the audience, and for me it's about how we connect and contribute and collaborate in our community. And I'm looking at representatives from Lacey City Council, someone running for Lacey City Council, the League members, a Thurston County Commissioner, a former Tumwater City Council member who happens to be my neighbor, a police ski representative, and most importantly, my mother, who a lot of you know as Madre. Because I love Tumwater. My parents chose Tumwater almost 50 years ago, and I choose Tumwater today. And everything I do is about how I expand opportunities and improve people's life. And it goes back to whatever phase and stage of your life, whatever you need, whatever you don't need, but you might need, our job is to make sure you don't think of us and that you have the options for what you need. And I want you to thrive in Tumwater because I love Tumwater.
Thank you. The next question is for you also, Leatta. What is the top priority for the City of Tumwater, and what would you like to address during your term?
Great question, Tawny, thank you. Knocking on doors and connecting with other colleagues and constituents and residents and nonprofits and private businesses, you'll get a different answer every time, right? So for us as an elected, it's juggling all of that, right? If everything's a priority, then nothing's a priority. So how do I meet your needs? How do I listen and learn and lead better? How do I make your priorities into our budget, right? So my job as mayor is gonna be taking what council approves and develops, working with boards and commissions, working with our county commissioners, working with our neighboring jurisdictions, taking all of that and showing that priority in our budget, right? Because your budget reflects your values. So it is making space for different types of housing, making sure our seniors, access to healthy foods, our youth, building bridges and connecting and contributing in a way that we maintain our neighborliness and we maintain our love of Tumwater.
Thanks. Lance?
Thanks. I have 5 key administration goals. The first is affordable housing and getting the cost of the rise of housing down as close as possible to the inflationary rate at the national level as possible. 2 is the Olympia Brewery, and leading the discussion that leads to the rehabilitation of that property into a productive member of society. 3rd is the modernization of emergency services, including body cams for police and laying the groundwork for a 3rd fire station in the southern third of Tumwater. Conservationism is number 4, particularly enshrining our old growth forests and protecting them as we go through necessary growth to meet our population growth. And 5, and the final one, is tone, breaking down barriers between groups that typically don't talk to each other and have divergent goals and getting them all to the same table to come to a common conclusion.
Okay, Lance, you get to answer this question first. The public and private sectors are experiencing pressure from the federal government to eliminate commitments to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and commonly known as DEI. In light of this, do you think any changes are needed to how Tumwater is implementing DEI efforts?
Well, some changes are coming, and credit where's credit due to the current administration and to the council. So coming online this year is an Equity Citizens Advisory Council, which is going to do 2 key things. That's going to produce a valve for output should something go wrong in the community, and there are issues that we need to address. This allows us to publicly put it out there and talk about it. It's also an input mechanism to get advice from the citizen body into the council's policymaking on how we address with this issue. And just going about my personal beliefs for this is I believe in the high ideals that this country is founded on. I believe in equality. I believe in everyone having an equal shot. And I believe in everyone, if anybody has any barriers to that, that is where the government steps in and makes sure that the playing field is fair. And should I be elected, my goal is that there will be an open door to me and everyone in my administration to solve problems as they come up.
Thank you. Leatta?
Thank you, Tani. It's a relevant question. And when I talk about this to my colleagues and constituents and my neighbors in the police and fire and former electeds, we talk about Tumwater the Tumwater way, right? So we define what family looks like. Ed Hildreth is my family now. He's stuck with me whether he likes it or not. Commissioner Carolyn Mejia is my family. Jacob Rodriguez, Police Guild, is my family. In Tumwater, we're not othering. I'm not siloing and talking about diversity, equity, inclusion. It is embedded in everything we do, just like sustainability. It is the core of who we are, what we do in Tumwater. So to have someone, anyone, tell us to take something out, sure, I can do that, but I'm not gonna change my morals and my values, and I'm not expecting anyone else to do that in this room. So you can get distracted by that, but Tumwater's gonna keep doing what we're doing. Right? Inclusion and belonging, you define that, and my job is to make sure you have the services to do that. My job is to connect those sidewalks. My job is to make sure you have access to inner city transit. And I ran out of time, but I have more.
Back to you. As local governments are facing significant financial challenges, what do you see as Tumwater's toughest financial issue?
You know, in our general fund, the city of Tumwater, there's over 30 line items. That represents 30 different departments. So really you're creating competition, right? The most notable is fire and police. They both need what they need to do to serve you and meet you probably on your worst day possible, but they're competing. So one was that we tried to do the regional fire authority. That failed horribly, and I'm still upset about that, but I'm moving on, right? So you tell me no, you don't like this, that's intel for me, I'm moving on to the next. So maybe we're looking at a fire district, right, to meet those needs. So how do I juggle all the needs? One thing is that we like to do moving forward when I become mayor is working with the unions, working with the non-represented. Let's not be competitive with each other. What do you need? What do you need? How do we get to yes? So that is my goal. How do we get to yes? Meeting everyone's needs, knowing that people have different priorities, different goals, different passions, and I'm not going to shame or judge any of you. I'm going to work with you to get to yes.
Thank you. Lance?
I think one of the hardest things that we're going to have to balance, and we have had to balance this, and we will continue to over the next 4 years, is how do we incentivize a smart and appropriate growth in housing relative to an already high and in many cases unaffordable cost of living for Tumwater residents. So I was looking at the city's website earlier today. Median income's $84,000. Average cost of living here is about $100,000. So not really any surprise that we have 40% of our kids on free or reduced lunch programs across the school district. And so how are we going to balance? We need more housing to help drive down that price to allow people to have affordable housing options, while still balancing that with, hey, we have commitments to meet with our transportation, with our quality of life, and the other things that keep Tumwater a small town. And so that'll be a difficult juggling act, but I think the council and the administration is up to it.
Okay, Lance, how can the city of Tumwater collaborate with other jurisdictions to end homelessness in Thurston County?
Three-pronged approach, and I'll try to be quick. So the number one way to keep the majority of people out of homeless status or any form of poverty is good jobs. Attracting as many locally owned, locally ran good jobs as possible to keep people in their own homes. Number two, incentivization for those who are on the margins. So I'm a small town landlord here in town, and I think there's more that the city can do. Could we offer a monetary or even a non-monetary benefit to anybody who comes and attracts a Section 8 housing tenant and keeps them on a lease for a year or better? What could we throw their way to incentivize that from the private sector? And three, there are some great nonprofits. I was with United Way yesterday at Catholic Community Outreach. I've been with the Union Gospel Mission for years. And those faith-based and nonprofits are doing the hard work that we in government are not set up to do. We need to support them with a portion of what we already give to fight poverty.
Leatta?
Thank you, Tani. There's a lot that we're doing and we will continue to do, right? So the issue is complex, but we don't have to make it complicated. And a lot of times we make things complicated. One is Regional Housing Council, right? The jurisdictions in the county. I'm looking at Carolina Mejia in the room. Thank you for being here today. What does that look like, right? What are those resources? The challenge that we're experiencing in Tumwater is we all agree, my seatmates, that not having shelter or a safe or healthy place to live is unacceptable. It is unacceptable for you to be homeless in Tumwater because that is not the Tumwater way, right? So we have to meet these acute needs, right? But then we have these chronic needs of seniors and manufactured home parks, of rents going up. We are creating a pipeline of those who are gonna lose their homes. And I have seniors telling me they would rather commit suicide than be on the streets. So in Tumwater, we have to do both. We have to be reactive and proactive. And what does that look like? That comes down to your budget and the partnerships and looking for other ways. So it's how we treat ourselves, and I want everyone to remember that we're all neighbors, and how do we treat our neighbors?
Do you have any concerns about the condition of city infrastructure, such as roads and sidewalks? And if so, what suggestions do you have to address those concerns? That's for you,
Thank you,
Leatta.
Tony. Great question. The three areas that I work on is connection, community health, and the rural-urban lifestyle. For connection, that means connecting our sidewalks. The improvement that we're making is in April, we had a special election for the Transportation Benefit District Board, and we added sidewalks to that, right, to connect sidewalks. Also is access to intercity transit. There's some proposed development down on Highway 99. That developer is open to having intercity transit go down. That's $1 million line that we can have someone else partner with us. Community health, the body-worn cameras. Rural-urban lifestyle, all those things that I'm working on, right? I currently live in an area in southwest Tumwater that is on well and septic, and I do not have a sidewalk. So having the ability to have things accessible and balancing rural needs and urban development is an ongoing thing, because that's what makes Tumwater special, is that urban-rural lifestyle of keeping our green spaces, keeping our family, and keeping the horse farm that's around the corner for me. So yeah, but that comes into our priorities and our capital facilities plan.
Lance?
First, we'll continue the previous administration's sidewalk plan and continue that out at least through the end of my administration. We'll continue with the roundabouts to increase fuel efficiency. Every time you have to yield instead of stop increases fuel efficiency and reduces pollutants into the environment. And fully found and expunged buses, one particular area that I plan to address with the other municipalities is access from Black Lakes. Right now, no bus system that goes from there to SPSCC, so THS students have a much better chance of going to Running Start without needing to drive themselves or needing a parent than someone from Black Hills. We can address that. and address busing on the newly annexed land in the bottom of southern end of Tumwater, and allowing those people to have equal access to buses so they can get back to the rest of the town.
Well, you now have 1 minute for a closing statement, and we will start with Lance.
Hi. So, got two great choices going into this election. Here's what I bring to the table. 20 years of executive experience in the Army, 8 years of owning private business, 8 years of being a farmer. I care about this town and everything that it stands for, and I want it to remain a small town, a place where you can own your own home, where businesses are owned locally, where we have a unique identity of our own and we have a connection to the land. And I can't wait to see you all in November, and let's go win.
Leatta?
Thank you, Tani. My parents chose Tumwater almost 50 years ago. I love Tumwater, and when you love something, you go above and beyond for what you love. We are not a small town. We used to be a small town. Those who live in Tumwater and know Tumwater know that we are a medium-sized city, almost 250 full-time staff, $250 million biennium budget. We know where we want to go. Now is the time, the tipping point, to shape that, to maintain our rural-urban lifestyle, our community health, and our connection. For me, that means that everything we look at has to fit two questions for me. Does it improve your life? Does it expand opportunities? Not at the expense of anyone else. I love Tumwater. I connect, I contribute, and I collaborate in this city. I've served on planning commission. I've served on council for 8 years now. I'm your mayor pro tem. I give everything to this city because I want you to choose Tumwater and not be priced out of another jurisdiction, and Tumwater is your second choice. I want Tumwater to be your first choice, and I'm going to do that with you.
Thank you both for participating in this candidate forum. We thank our partner TC Media for producing and airing it. We are indebted to TC Media for years of making these forums happen and educating the voters. TC Media is a nonprofit organization dedicated to making media production accessible to all. They are committed to providing our community with access to professional media production, education, and content creation resources. Your support helps provide studio space, equipment, and education for creators in our community. To donate to TC Media's work or to become a member, visit www.tcmedia.org. We are also incredibly thankful to the NAACP of Thurston County for sponsoring this forum. We encourage our viewers to be a voter in the upcoming election on November 4th, 2025. Every vote counts. Ballots for military personnel were mailed on September 21st, and all other ballots will be available on October 15th. You may register to vote up to and including Election Day. Thank you for watching this 2025 Candidate Forum.